So real quick, Trump does not have immunity. He does not have immunity, meaning they on his ass. Mr. Trump had claimed in a landmark legal case that he was immune from federal crimes or from any criminal charges and acts that fell within his presidential duties. Well, that is a lie. But Tuesday, a unanimous ruling in Washington, D.C. struck down that claim. It set Mr. Trump back, who has for years cited presidential immunity while battling multiple cases. Well, all of that is gone. January 6th is about to be around the corner. Um, Jack Smith case down there in Florida, they about to go ahead and ramp that up. We're waiting. I think Trump NY civil case. Yeah, he can be the number one presidential candidate, but they about to speed up all these trials. He's trying to
Donald Trump could receive,
but he's not going to be able to delay him. Plus, he's not going to have enough money for this. So he's about to. So the New York case, he's probably about to lose all rights to do any business in New York. Initially, they were asking for 250 million, but they upped it to 370 million. He's already been found liable, so he will have to pay money. He also owes the 89 million total in the defamation case, and people are saying, well, he ain't got to pay that, but he does have to pay it. If he wants to appeal that, he has to put up the bond, meaning he'll have to put up the 83 million plus that 5 million that he hasn't paid. So I just say about 88, 89 million. He'll have to put that up in the bond. Now, banks aren't giving him any collateral. So you're probably going to start seeing fundraisers coming out from Trump. But if you remember when he had his mugshot, I went through and read everything with Torian. And remember, all of the money wasn't going for the campaign. It was going for legal fees. Well, a lot of lawyers, prominent lawyers, are backing out and staying away because they know he can't pay them. And remember, under oath, he said he had about 400 million in liquid. Well, if they hit him with this 370 plus that 89, well, that's about a lot of money that he won't have. So it's going to wipe all of his cash. It's going to deplete it all. That's if he even has it. Most analysts are saying he doesn't have it. Then, if he loses all the business in New York, he has to sell every single property, everything that he has in New York, which is going to come with this 370 million. Then on top of that, we got the Georgia RICO. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about the Fonnie Willis and her alleged affair. Well, that still won't do anything to Trump's case. People are trying to argue, well, man, that's illegal. Well, guess what? The charges were there. They're just going to remove her from the case. The RICO will continue on. So that case is going. We got Jack Smith with the damn documents. That's about to drop. What's her name? Norma Anderson. Let me see. I got all the information. Is it Norma Anderson? Then we got Norma Anderson. She goes to court tomorrow with the Supreme Court, arguing the 14th Amendment for Colorado. Now, I know people say Colorado is a blue state. It wouldn't have mattered. Trump wouldn't have won. But if she wins this in the Supreme Court, then every other state can apply this same rule, and that's going to be law. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about that. Even with the appeals, um, unless it's violating a civil right, the Supreme Court ain't going to do nothing with it. So that's why you're starting to see a lot of stuff like the immunity. No, they can't give you immunity for that, because then that means every president from here on out can just wild the fuck out and basically be a king. So no, you can't get that. Supreme Court kicked that back, and people are saying this is a witch hunt. Well, some of them Supreme Court justices were assigned by Donald Trump, so they're just going by the law. So there's a lot of shit going on right now, and I'm just keeping up with it. But I'll fill you in piece by piece.
word on two rulings with profound implications for his financial, business, legal, and political future.
in my opinion, with any of these cases result in him not running for president. So he'll run for president regardless of what's going on. He's still gonna run for president. Like no matter what, he's running for president. Now, the Republicans, they would be dumb to make him the primary candidate, which they're gonna do, because they're not gonna have. They couldn't even compete in 2020. Doug, he's going to jail. They got Rudy Giuliani down there, who was his lawyer at the time of all of this, just got hit with defamation, admitted that he was lying about the election being stolen. They flipped states already. He's not gonna come close to winning. He lost by 7 million. That was the biggest deficit we've seen in history. You know, he's always worried about the biggest everything. Well, that was the largest deficit we've seen in history. So he'll run. He's gonna be broke. He's gonna be broke. Like there's no coming back from $500 million. Like he's about to be spending about $450 million in the next couple of months. And even if he does appeal those cases, he has to put the money up for him before he can even appeal it. And that money is going to go into a separate account and they'll just hold it until, if the appeal doesn't go through, if he doesn't win the appeal, then the funds will be released. But I'm trying to find what date that's going to be. Damn. Nah, this year I'm voting. I haven't voted since 2004, but I'm gonna vote this time. Good old Joe Biden got my vote. I got me 2 raises this year. Good old Joe Biden looking out for the veterans. See, I vote for me. And whoever looks out for the veterans, that's all I care about. Everything else going on in the world, I don't give a shit about it. Unfortunately, I can only live for me. So that's where my vote is going, for someone that's actually doing something for the vets. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Sure. Judge Arthur Engoron was efforting to release his decision in Trump's New York civil fraud trial by today, which could result in a $370 million fine for Trump and a ban on doing business in New York. It has also been just over 3 weeks since a D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals heard arguments over Trump's claim of having absolute immunity from criminal prosecution in his federal election interference case. It's been more than 50 days since the proceedings in that case have been put on hold. And with each passing day, it gives Trump the delay he wants to try and keep the case from reaching trial before November's election. Remember, prospective jurors were supposed to appear next week to fill out a written questionnaire for use in the jury selection process for the March 4th trial date. That, of course, is now on hold. Joining me now is Melissa Murray, professor of law at New York University.
So this is a little dated, but yeah. So here's what happens. Here's a breakdown of what happens with Trump and his appeal. So Derry, he does have to pay the $83 million. He does have to pay it, and it'll sit in the account until the appeal goes through.
This morning, for the first time, we're hearing from writer E. Jean Carroll on camera, since a jury ordered former President Donald Trump to pay her over $83 million for defaming her as a liar. Here's some of what Carroll said about Trump's conduct in the courtroom.
The courtroom was not a courtroom to him. It was a campaign stop. That was clear. So we had 2 different objectives. Ours was to win a case. His was to win voters.
Joining us now, NBC News correspondent Garrett Hake and Catherine Christian, a former assistant district attorney at the Manhattan DA's office. She is also an MSNBC legal analyst. So, Garrett, what's next for Trump's legal team now that the former president has pledged to appeal?
Well, they're in a little bit of wait-and-see mode on a couple of other cases this week, Jose. They could get a ruling, rather, in the New York civil fraud case this week, or in the case that his attorneys argued here in D.C. a couple of weeks ago on presidential immunity. That's probably the one that has the most of Donald Trump's attention. He's been talking about it for weeks on the campaign trail and using his social media accounts, arguing that a president has total immunity for any act committed while in office. He clearly believes that a favorable ruling in that case could protect him from either of the big federal investigations into him over the next couple of weeks. Those arguments are over. The briefs are filed. There's not much left for his attorneys to do in that case than sit and wait for a decision.
So, Catherine, how would an appeal impact Carroll's ability to get some or all of those funds?
Well, she's not going to be getting a check for $83.3 million immediately because he has a right to exhaust his appeals. He has to put up the $83.3 million either in escrow or he has to give a 20% bond if he's going to do an appeal. So the money will be there waiting for her, but she will not get it immediately.
And Trump has also called on federal courts to intervene in his other New York.
See, so regardless, he has to put the money up. And if he does his appeals, because that's his right, if he loses the appeals, the money is there. So they don't have to wait to go and find it. So he has to come up with that money and he has a deadline for it. Now, I think February 12th is when he has to file the appeal by. And if he doesn't file the appeal by then, it's basically he lost out. I think it's February 12th. I think I might have dates mixed up. But I think that because so today we got the immunity. That's over with. So that's what he was trying to get. If he got the immunity, he could hold off all of this and hopefully until, the election. And if he won, then he can get these dismissed. Now, this is a silver fraud case. So this silver fraud, you're not going to be able to dismiss this. That judgment was made. So it's crazy out here. But, these Trumpsters, they don't want to believe what they hear. They just want to listen to Trump on this campaign.
New York civil case, Catherine, which threatens Trump's business empire in New York. A verdict from the judge there is expected at any point there. What are you watching for?
I don't like to read tea leaves, but we can expect that the verdict from the judge on his civil fraud trial will not be favorable to Donald Trump. And remember, his sons are also defendants and 2 members of the Trump organization also defendants. So we can expect that there will be, it's called disgorgement, also known as a fine, but will it be 370 million? It might be that close. And will he be permanently barred from conducting business in New York? That is one of the reliefs that the AG has asked for. So I expect that the verdict from the judge this week, he said Wednesday, will not be favorable to Donald Trump.
And Garrett, meanwhile, Trump's busy legal calendar is just getting started. The Supreme Court's going to be hearing arguments next week on whether Trump should be allowed on the primary ballot in Colorado. What's the level of concern inside the Trump campaign about all of these?
See, so tomorrow is the argument about the Colorado ballot. If he loses that, then that means every other state can go ahead and start removing them. Now, this lady, Norma Anderson, she was a Republican and she left the Republican Party once Trump got elected. She said those people are not Republicans. So what she did is she took this up. She's the first person to say, hey, let's take him off of the ballots because of the 14th Amendment, Section 3. Now, they brought this up to the Supreme Court. If she wins this, then this is really, you already lost the immunity. So all these cases, they're going to go ahead and go through. But if the Supreme Court rules that he could be removed for participating in an insurrection, then right there, the dominoes are about to fall. Every single state is going to follow through because this is going to set a precedence for everybody. Then you still got the January 6th, which he was trying to get the immunity for. Well, that's gone. So that means all that information, everyone that's gave information, testified, flipped, they're going to get that. The RICO down in Georgia, well, that's a state RICO. So he ain't really got to worry too much about having presidential immunity because that ain't going to fly down there. But the court document, I'm not the court documents, but the documents, classified documents, that's federal. He's trying to get that removed. But, hey, man, you're not immune to anything no more. So that's why he's trying to get all of these to stall out. But it's not going to stall out because these judges, if some of them are appointed by him, these judges, they're pushing it because at the end of the day, yeah, it looks good. While he was in power, you could do what you need to do, but it's not looking like he'll probably win. So they're all like, man, we got to do the right thing at least because they want to keep their jobs. It's getting crazy out here. Then March 25th, he got the other hush money trial. And the crazy thing is, this 83 million that people are saying, oh, that's bullshit. It's a witch hunt. If he would have just shut the fuck up, paid the 5 million and not said anything else, but instead that nigga lost the 5 million on the SA, got on True Social. They said he mentioned their name like 30 times in the same day that he lost. So what did? They sued his ass again. And now the punitive damages were what, like 16 or like 20 something $million. So he did it to himself. But you see that nigga Trump ain't said one word after that 83 million hit. He ain't said nothing because he's realizing that, man, this just for real. And then you got Haba, or Lena Baba, whatever the fuck his lawyer's name is, trash as hell. Getting out here on the podium talking about they didn't even let us speak about the trial. There's nothing to speak about. He's already been held liable. This trial is just to talk about the defamation of him running his mouth. There isn't no present anything. So that's why they had Trump sitting up there on the stand and they told the lawyer, I need to know everything you're going to say because you can't control Trump. So Trump is out there. He stormed out of there too when the decision was made because he's realizing that these walls are closing in. You got 83 million here that you got to come up with. You about to get hit over the head with about 370. They'll probably say 350. And you can't do no business in New York. Oh, it's getting ugly. Oh, Mar-a-Lago that you lied about. You overinflated the prices. Yep. That's why. That's right. You wasn't paying taxes in New York, remember? Damn. Damn, man. I know a lot of people be hitting me up on Instagram because I be talking shit in the comments. They be talking about, I don't know where you got your law degree from. You don't know what's going to happen. I said, all right. Same thing with Fonnie Willis. Fonnie Willis was allegedly having an affair with a dude. Well, she said she was. But they ain't going to do nothing but remove her from the case, put someone else on there. The charges do not change. If you're charged with something, they didn't tamper with any evidence, you're still going through that RICO. 18 people flipped, 3 lawyers flipped. It's ugly. It's just piling up. But hey, man, he brought it on himself. And I'm here for it. Now, you know me, I really don't care, but I like to see it because this is American history. So for me, I always liked history and, American politics, U.S. government. Of course, I'm not obsessed with it, but for me, this shit's cool. That's why I like watching the Watergate stuff. I like to see this stuff happening so I can look back and say, I remember, man, they got Trump up out of here, man. He went from a billionaire to a broke ass yellow man, or should I say orange man? But yeah, it's getting ugly for him right now. It's getting ugly. But that's what's up, though, man. I mean, that's Donnie for you. Let's see. 370 million. 6 days ago. Yeah, we ain't got nothing up to date. What is NBC saying? Nobody's going to write Donald Trump a bond for $83 million unless the full amount is collateralized. Damn. Yeah, the crazy thing about Trump, he inherited $300 million for his dad. He got $300 million from his dad. Do you know Trump lost $900 million? How do you inherit $300 million but lose $900 million? Been lying on taxes since the beginning of time. Damn, bro. Hey, man. Do you think so his supporters are going to donate? They're going to donate, but I mean, $500 million? Let me see how much. Summary data for Trump. So they say he raised $773 million in 2020. Campaign committee. So for outside groups, he got 300 million combined from outside groups and from the actual campaign. He made $1 billion. But think about it. He made $1 billion, but that was all for the campaign. Now he got to raise $500 million just for legal fees, just to cover. Well, that ain't even for legal fees. That $450 million that he's facing, that's what he's gonna have to owe the state and Carol. That ain't gonna go to the campaign. So the campaign about to fall flat. It's like, hey man, we ain't got 1.5, brother. We ain't got 1.5. How many of y'all gonna vote? Let me see. Does Trump got any? Trump. Fox News said he's leading in small donations, though. He's crushing Biden in the small dollar donations as Joe Biden courts the wealthy. You see? Even Fox News is saying, yeah, he's crushing them in the small donations because the motherfuckers with money, they like, dog, we're not giving you no more money, man. You keep fucking up. Biden's getting wealthy investors. Trump, all he can do is, just like we said, remember? He was low-key scamming people allegedly in that damn campaign when he got arrested, where if you put $300 down, you're going to be paying $900 if you checked all the boxes within 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So you got to really look at the how they word it. Yeah, he's crushing in the small dollar donations. Okay, nigga, he needs big dollars. He needs the big money. Exactly, RD. The donor spent $53 million just on legal fees. So he's going to, let's just say, he's going to have another 50 on legal fees plus the 80. That's what, 130 that he got to come up with. That means real estate and everything's going to go. Plus you 70, probably 350. That it's $500 million that they're going to have to come up with. Putin will help him. Hell, Elder, Putin can't help nobody. He can't even win the war. How you over there getting whooped on by the Ukraine? It's crazy out here. Oh, Tucker Carlson got an interview with Putin coming out. Putin.